kind of also grown your business in the era of inflation and let things keep going up, costs keep going up. Are you seeing anything very specific that's been a pain point for you? Like, oh, this costs too much. This is getting more and more costly.
So I don't just have this company now. I have other companies. I always tell everyone, me and numbers are best friends. Like I get numbers because I get money. I follow patterns, algorithms, and stuff like that. So when opening new businesses, I try to look for businesses where it's the least amount of money to start and to supply and stuff like that. But there's a really great revenue of income, or like this with my contractors, some make up to $12,000 every Friday.
Welcome to United We Podcast, the official podcast of the United Corpus Christi Chamber of Commerce, the only chamber podcast in South Texas. I'm your host, Al Ariola Jr., and we're here to explore the latest business insights, community stories, and opportunities shaping the coastal bend. Whether you're a business owner or just passionate about our region, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back, Chamber family and friends. And today we are joined by, and this is a good name for a company, Big Al's. His name is Albert. What's your last name, brother?
Esquivel.
Esquivel. Big Al's dry cleaning services, clean services?
Cleaning services. Yes.
Cleaning services.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start talking about the business, the company name is Big Al, so I'm assuming it's after you.
It is.
Okay, and so short for Albert, right? We were
Yes.
just talking about. And so you asked me a little while ago, so what would you guess my name is then?
I guess either Albert, Alejandro.
Nope.
Those are the only two.
Yeah, you would never guess it, man. So Alvaro.
Alvaro.
It's a pretty old Spanish Germanish name, not very common, but yeah. So I'm in my community. My dad is known as Big Al, and I'm his son, so they call me Little Al. And so right now I'm hanging out with Big Al. So you look relatively young, man. So going into business is not for the sheepest of mind. But if you don't mind telling everybody, how old are you?
27.
27?
Mm-hmm.
And when did you start with the idea that you wanted to go into business for yourself?
So at the age of 16, of course, I had my first job. I became a store manager to a 24-hour Subway. And
At 16?
At 16.
Okay.
And so then since then, I've always got moved up to, I've always started at the smallest position and then got moved up within weeks or my first month to area manager, territory manager. I've been a district manager for a cell phone company before.
Yeah.
And then school just wasn't for me, right? So I sat down one day and was like, do I want to go to college? No, I do not.
Yeah.
But it's just studying for me is different for others. You know,
Sure.
if I have ADHD, it takes longer for me to process something. I can read something over and over and over and not know what I just read because I'm thinking other things in my head.
Well, but I mean, and you just shared your age, and I'm obviously a little older than you, but the tone of a college degree, it did change. Back when I was near your age, a lot of the expectation was, well, if you don't go to college, then you're not going to be successful. I think that's not the vibe anymore, right?
Yeah. So I sat down one day and was like, I got a job at Big Lots.
Yeah.
I was a store manager there. And I looked around and there was nothing but elderly people that were my coworkers. And I was like, oh my God, this is the most boring job ever. It's like I work with older
Well, then you're the
people.
manager and you have to be the one that behaves, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that I can't say. If I joke around, it's jokes that people don't understand. So
Sure.
I was like, oh my God, this is my life now. I'm never going to get more than this. And I thought to myself, $60K is probably the most that I'm going to receive, yearly.
Which is good pay, right? But you were still thinking, I want more.
Yeah. And we're in a generation where people, there's influencers and stuff like that. So of course I'm in the mindset of 60,000 cannot get me to travel the world the way that I want. You know,
Yeah.
It's just not doable. So then I remember I was working with my friend's mom and helping her clean houses. And then I just told myself, okay, I need to do something different. And in the meantime, while I try to get a different job, I called my husband and was like, hey, I called LegalZoom, which is an online.
Yeah. To put your paperwork together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I called LegalZoom. They said it'll be $1,000 for an expedited LLC.
Uh-huh.
What do you think? And he was like, well, how much do we have in the savings? And I was like, well, we have $1,500.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I think we should do it, just not right now. We should probably wait until we get a little bit more in our savings. And I said, yeah, okay. I hang up and I call LegalZoom and I was like, I want to do it right now.
I still have $500 left. Yeah.
I expedited it. I didn't tell him nothing whenever I got home. I waited until I received the binder in the mail with my paperwork and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, like I started the LLC. Um,
And well, so for folks too, that again, not everybody's as ambitious as you to go ahead and take that leap, especially with, the money you had saved to launch this dream of yours. But why the LLC route? To educate folks too, why'd you take that path?
so I honestly didn't know that I didn't have to get an LLC.
Right, right. No, you don't. But most people, that.
Where I was helping my friend's mom, it's out there in Port Aransas to clean Airbnbs. I heard someone tell me one day, "Hey, like you do a really good job. You should try to get your own contract."
Yeah, yeah.
And I assume I have to go and get an LLC, so I went online, found LegalZoom, and went that route. When I could have just got a DBA,
Right,
or
right. I was
I
gonna go
could have
there.
just got a contract with my social,
Sure.
and then just pay the tax at the end of the year because I'd be a contractor.
Right.
I didn't know, so I went the LLC route and got insurance and stuff like that. But I listened to a lot of podcasts. I got on YouTube. I Googled everything, because there was not a lot of people that I wouldn't say weren't friendly, but whenever I would ask people, it was kind of like, oh, this is my territory, so I kind of don't want to like give you
Colleagues and peers in the market were
correct.
like, I'm not going to help you because you're going to be my competition.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I didn't know I didn't know any of the terminologies. I didn't know what to ask. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So it was kind of bad that I was asking the people that are in the same market, but then I didn't even know what kind of questions I should be asking. So, without me knowing what I should be asking, what do I ask these people
Right.
for advice for? So it was really rough in the beginning, but that's why I went the LLC route only because I didn't know.
No, well, and you made a good choice. If you
Yeah,
ask me, I think it was a great choice. I can tell you're a hardworking, forthright person that you don't need the limited liability protection, so to speak. But yeah, in the event that somebody sues you, you now the company is what they're suing, and they're not suing. To your point, your social you as a person,
correct.
because then they can come after, your house, your cars. But when they come after your business, they can only come after your business. So that was kind of a smart idea, actually. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I didn't even know what the difference was.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, no,
I
there's
didn't
a
know what an
difference.
LLC was or anything until after my first year in business. I had no idea that's like a whole separate entity
Right.
and stuff like that. So I didn't even understand like the legal
Right, right.
ways that I could get in trouble without having an LLC. I didn't understand none of that until after my first year.
Well, I want to go back because you spoke to my heart a little bit. I guess Al's are hard workers. So when I was in high school, I was 16 too, and I worked at a retail store, a department store, Bell's. They were still around back then, but Bell's, and they started me in the shoe department. They used to call me Al Bundy. If you guys know the Married with Children, the show, one of my coworkers wrote Al Bundy for life in the back shoe room. But I worked hard there too, and I worked there for 3 years, and they wanted me to stay. They were going to make me a manager, and all, and kind of the same vibes as you. As I was like, well, I think I want to try something else. I want to live a little bit bigger, and so same vibes. Then after college back then in the early 2000s was a rough time for anybody that was graduating college. There was really not a lot of opportunities for anybody. And so fell right back into the same kind of work. And I was getting promoted to a district manager for lease purchase finance furniture. So same vibes. I was working with some colleagues that I would say were cool, but they weren't my people, my vibe, my tribe. And so making okay money, like you said, and it was just like I want more. There's more out there, and experience, culture, and yeah, so kind of the same vibes as you. But I can assume I wanted to go back to you, like when you talked about Big Lots, Subway. I guess you were really good at process and management. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did sales for a couple years as well, and I was really, really good at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hardest part about being in sales though was like having to reset yourself after every client. It's not resetting yourself after every day.
Sure.
It's resetting yourself with every
That's
customer.
well said. Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't want to smile. Sometimes you
Yeah.
don't want to sell. And there's a saying, you got to get 100 no's before you get that one yes. And it's just like, well, what if I don't want to talk to 100 people today? So it was really, really stressful. It was really like draining
Yeah,
mentally.
yeah.
So
That's well said. That's very well said. Yeah. Well, and so back to your business, you clearly have established your business, went about figuring it out, figuring out how to develop the structure of your business. Now you're out in the streets, you got your clients, you have, I'm sure, some repeat clients. Business going good?
So this is our third year in business. Last year, second year closing in, we brought in $1.1 million in revenue.
Hey, man, not shabby.
I did not know we were going to grow this big. I didn't know that, this was going to come about.
Yeah.
Now we clean banks, offices, daycare, schools, commercial, residential, new buildings, stuff like that. So.
What do you think's the sauce? What do you think the trajectory of success has been about?
So honestly, everything has been word of mouth. I can say that we've been successful with word of mouth, but we're building ourselves off of reputation. So it's just, marketing is fun and
Yeah.
stuff, but I'm more of like a hands-on person, so I like to be in the field. I don't do any type of marketing or anything like that, but that's just not me. I'd
Mhm.
rather be in the field. I like to lead by example, so I don't ever ask anybody to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah.
So I stay out in the field, and everything has just been with transparency. And I always tell everyone, if you do everything the right way, no one will ever have anything to blackmail you with. Nobody ever has the upper hand on you. You just got to act like there's a camera on you at all times and just do things the right way.
Right,
So,
that's integrity, right? Well,
hmm
do what's right when no one's looking, even when no one's looking. Yeah, absolutely. 1.1, that's not a shabby number. You've been a chamber member too, and so thank you for your renewal. You mentioned word of mouth and connecting and networking, and that's kind of been the name of the game. I would argue that yeah, it's kind of faster than the internet sometimes. And to your point too, if you don't do a good job, that goes around fast too, huh?
yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned banks. I'm assuming some like Airbnbs too, or,
We have over 200 Airbnbs to our portfolio.
oh my God, man.
hmm
That's interesting. And I'm assuming all over the place, island here.
Yes. So our main contract is out in Port Aransas with Palmilla Beach Resort.
Okay.
But we have some on the island throughout Corpus, in Rockport, Portland.
Wow. Oh, you're all over the place. And as you've grown, I'm assuming your fleet, so to speak, has grown, your staff has
hmm
grown, you have more people now.
So we don't hire any employees or all subcontractors. So we
Okay.
hire people that have already existing businesses or people that just want to work and make really good money.
That's smart. Well, when did that idea turn on that this is maybe the way to take the business model?
So at 6 months, it's a funny story, right? So I got into the cleaning industry with the intention of having my foot in the door into a company where I wanted to be a property manager. So the goal was never to
Grow
stay with the
this.
company. Yeah,
Okay.
correct. And so I applied to be a property manager. When I got turned down, I was like, who else better than me? Like, why? And so I was upset.
Sure.
I was about to I was already applying on Indeed for other jobs, and I got a call from the general manager, and she was like, "Hey, can we meet you for dinner later? I'll pay." And I was like, "Free food, yeah. Like,
Okay.
why not? I'm gonna
Yeah.
go." So my husband and I went, and it was her and the assistant general manager, and they were like, "Hey, like, you know, you would fit the position like perfectly good." And I remember thinking like, "Well, then why didn't you hire me?" Like that was the very first thought. And she continued on, and she said, "We want you to take over. We'd like to give you so there's like 160 homes on the rental program." She was like, "We want you to take over." So I lied and I said, I have the staff. I'm ready to go." Like, completely lied, but that was none of her business. I
Sure,
just
sure.
said, "Yeah, I got it."
Well, you
Like,
didn't lie. You just didn't have it yet.
yeah. So I knew I was gonna have to work. I said yes, and so that was within my 6 months of them asking me that, and I knew I have like 25 homes for my portfolio. I make decent money now. Having 160, I was just like, all I saw was dollar signs, and I
Yeah.
was like, yes, let's do it.
So you've kind of also grown your business in the era of inflation, and let things keep going up, costs keep going up. Are you seeing anything very specific that's been a pain point for you? Like, oh, this costs too much. This is getting more and more costly.
So I don't just have this company now. I have other companies. I always tell everyone, me and numbers are best friends. Like I get numbers because I get money. I follow patterns, algorithms, and stuff like that. So when opening new businesses, I try to look for businesses where it's the least amount of money to start and to supply and stuff like that, but there's a really great revenue of income. Or like this with my contractors, some make up to $12,000 every Friday.
Wow.
So they're excited. I mean, you have happy workers; they're gonna do a great job. So
Yeah.
it's been really really easy. But what I stayed to doing is my homework. So I tell my contractors now I do the part that you guys don't want to do, which is reading labels, reading chemicals, like doing my homework with getting on podcasts to see like how we can grow. We go to seminars and we like I try to do as much as I can with other people and not just in the same business because regardless, it doesn't matter what kind of business we all own. It's the same strategy as far as hiring, firing, training, coaching, mentoring, stuff like that. It's the
Sure.
same strategy. So I listen to any kind of business owner. It doesn't matter if they're in the cleaning industry or not.
Yeah. Well, we all grew up with aunts, tias, abuelitas, and they had their go-to cleaning products. Do you remember any smells growing up that?
I remember all the smells, but I don't like none of the smells.
Well, I was gonna say like Fabuloso, Pine Sol. I'm
Yeah,
sure you
ours
don't.
was like Pinol and Fabuloso, and I stay away from those. I'm like, maybe it's just this generation now. You know, we have Mr. Clean. I really like Mr. Clean. It smells clean. It doesn't smell like iridescent.
Right.
I don't know. I hate those smells, especially Pinol. I stay away from it as much as I can.
That's where I was going with that. Yeah. Well, and you mentioned now other businesses. So you want to talk about any of those, or any of those you want to share and promote?
Sure. So we started an ATM business machine.
Okay, yeah.
That one's called Big Al's ATM Solutions. Right now, our business partners from San Antonio, because we're also located in San Antonio, Houston, and the Valley with the cleaning company.
Oh, great. Wow.
Our business partners out there, we're getting together to start a new LLC for jet detailing. In December, we paid like $3,000 each ticket to be able to go and learn how to detail jets and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we're starting that business.
So I'm assuming you're like for private planes, private jets. Okay, wow. And so is there a certain airport you guys are going to be working out of, more or less? Or?
Whoever hires us.
There we go. All right. Putting it out there. Okay. Well, I imagine now with the success of one business and now another one's going to grow, do you have any ambition? What's the big dream? Is there a big dream out there for you?
So there has been some people that ask me like, when are you gonna stop, or what is the limit, or questions like that. And I'm
exactly.
like, you know what? I grew up really poor, and I just told myself, man, I remember, I will never forget this memory. Driving downtown, and I was sitting in the back seat looking out the window, and I was looking at the big houses, and I just said like, oh, I'm gonna live here one day. Like I'm gonna have a house this big, and I remember looking to the side at my sister and telling her like, dude, I just feel it. Like, I just feel it. I'm going to be somebody big. I don't know if it's going to be famous or, like, I'm going to be a big-time murderer. I don't know. But, like, I'm going to be known. Like, I'm going to be somebody
You get
big.
a Netflix show eventually, right?
Yeah, there's that. And so now I just tell everyone, like, I'm never going to stop until the day that I die. And I'm just going to look up and just say, like, this was my limit. Like, this is all that I accomplished.
I gave it all.
Yeah.
I gave it my all. You know, same vibes, man. So I came to college here. I moved back 3 years ago. But when I came to college, I went to school on campus, which I could barely afford. And I had to get a scholarship to even be able to go to college, too. I wasn't born wealthy either, or even remotely close to it. But I would drive from campus all the way to downtown for my job that I was getting like $10 an hour. And I was just doing a lot of the computer work for this little orthopedic company. But I would just remember the drive on Ocean, and I would just look at the houses, and I had the same mentality, like, just keep going, just keep working, keep doing it. That's what you're here for. And yeah, you have to believe in that, and that mindset. I think is all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
If you wake up in the morning saying, "Oh, well, I'm awake," well,
And you know,
you know,
one thing that's really helped me on my journey is staying positive. And what I mean by staying positive is I remember at 16 when I had my first job, and I would leave, like sometimes I would leave at 3 in the morning, and I didn't have a car. My mom didn't either. So I had to walk home, and it would take me 3 hours to walk from the store to my house. So I wasn't getting home till like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And then whenever I had to do that, I remember like thinking to myself, like, man, I'm 16. Like, it sucks not feeling like I have anybody that can come pick me up. And I remember like 2 or 3 times, like I cried just thinking like, oh, this is my life. Like, how am I ever going to succeed? How am I ever going to become something big? How am I going to get out of this? And then I had to tell myself, like, the world's not against you. This is just like, this is just where you're at right now, but it'll get better if you make it better, you know? So you can think about all the negative stuff, but that's not going to help you, you know?
Right.
I can sit there and act like the world's against me, but in reality, it's just not, you make what you have of every situation. And that's going to be the hardest part, I feel, is you can motivate somebody, you can inspire someone, but nobody's going to listen to anyone other than themselves more, because it's them that gotta want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's that voice every day, right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're certainly inspiring, and I hope that this podcast does make its way to some young eyes too, that they can say, look, if they can do it, I can do it too. Something I heard a story recently that reminds me a lot of what we're talking about was. There was a class, a gentleman went into a classroom, and it's escaping me who the gentleman told me the story, but they asked everybody, like, what's your dream? And one of the kids out of the group says, I want to eat Chipotle one day. And the rest of the group kind of laughed at him, like, well, that's all he wants is Chipotle. Like, and so right away, the gentleman gave the teacher $20. He says, please do everything you possibly can to get this kid Chipotle today. And the teacher's like, well, what's the big deal? It's just Chipotle. He says, well, if I can get this kid now to dream about something else, if this was his dream, now he has to dream about something else, right? And so it's that pay it forward, keep it going, keep people inspired. And I certainly was very inspired by hearing your story today, and I hope our audience is too. So I want to thank you for joining us, sharing a bit of your story. Before we leave the audience, is there a shout out you want to give to some folks out in the crowd in Corpus Christi?
No.
Well, your people, I'm sure, and all your clients and contractors, everybody that works in it.
I mean, yeah, family and friends. And, I always say I'm building an empire, and I'm definitely not building it myself. I'm building my empire off of sticks, stones, bricks. I'm definitely not going to build it off of toothpicks and floss, something that can never be broken. So
I feel your vibe too. I've built a lot of who I am off of what's been thrown at me, not what's been given to me, right? Yep. Yes, sir. All right, Albert, it's been a pleasure, man, getting to know you. Big Al, little Al, I want to thank our audience for joining us, and we're going to see you again next time.
got it.